It's good to be back on your screens once again. It's Saturday, and it's a day that will give you nothing but the best in terms of sports. And today we'll have a very jovial conversation because it's a chochise between Angorapson and Augustine. Angorapson is back. Angorapson, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Amos, and it's always good to be back on the show. It's honestly, it is by the grace of God that I'm here, and it's been a fantastic week full of ups and downs, but we give nothing but the glory to the Almighty God for the life that He has decided to spare and give us to breathe this air that we are breathing today in the midst of the pandemic that the whole country and the entire world is going through. We give glory and thanks to the Almighty God for that.
Augustine, it's been something else. It's been a week full of surprises, and you know, Angorapson's both teams are not doing fine. Kashikishi Warriors and in Ghana. But anyway, welcome to the show, Augustine.
Thank you very much, Amos. We turn all the glory and honor to the Most High God for the gift of life and good health, and we welcome our viewers out there. We're nothing without the viewers out there, and it's been an eventful week, and we look forward to seeing how it will end. How the following week will start come Sunday, because relegations, the final spot has to be decided, and those two slots for continental football have to be decided. It's going to the wire. I think it doesn't get any better than this.
Angorapson.
It's always nice, you know, when the league is ending in this particular fashion where when you look up, there are two free slots. I think 4 or 5 teams that are vying for those 2 slots that are still free. You look down, there's also a battle of 3 teams. One of them has to go down tomorrow afternoon. Probably by 16:45, 17 hours, we should know who's going to cry the loudest and who's going to smile, who's going to be the happiest team after tomorrow's games. But it's always nice. When you look at the Eden University, it's also very, very interesting, extremely interesting between Chambishi Football Club and the Mufurira Wanderers. It's also very, 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 very tight there. Very tight.
In short, we are in for a rough week, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be an interesting week. I think we have got one promotion coming from the Eden University side, the Chambishi or Mighty Mufurira Wanderers. I think it's going to be a very, very tricky encounter between Mighty and Konkola Blades. And in other news, we are here that Edward Chiluvia is being rumored to a club from, is it Belgrade, something like in the team which was playing Portugal, Hungary, somewhere there's a team which is interested in Edward Chilufia's services, and Enoch Mwepu is back in base, scored in pre-season against
they were playing yesterday.
Yes, they were playing yesterday, scored in pre-season. Patson Daka closing in on a move to Leicester. Interesting times. Fashion Sakala left yesterday for Scotland to start his new chapter at Glasgow Rangers, with Steven Gerrard being the guy who will be taking him through the steps. It's interesting to see where Zambian football goes from now. Now we are seeing these players making these big moves. I think we need to see the Lamek Banda, where has the boy gone? Is that ever since he moved from Arsenal Toularon to Israel, we haven't heard much of him. Ivan Skangwa extended his stay at Arsenal Toula. I think we are getting into the right direction slowly, but we need now to start getting the results at the national team level.
Anyway, we'll discuss more, because there were media ablaze when the team was announced by Coach Michu, where we saw one veteran goalkeeper, Kennedy MWEENE, being called back to the national team. But for all those and some more interesting information concerning sports, we'll be right back after this very short break.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 07:30 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 09:30 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African Time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel.
We are in for a shock tomorrow, like Uncle Rabson has said, by 16:45 tomorrow or 17 hours sharp. We'll be able to tell if Nkana will still be in the Super League or they will be traveling to Eden University where they will be doing some other courses. But anyway, let's first look at the teams that are supposed to be promoted from the Eden League. Augustine, you've got a fixture there. That's the fixture that's being played today in the Eden League. What's the interesting fixture there?
I think if you look through these fixtures, I think we've got Fulia Wanderers taking on Konkola Blades at Shinde Stadium. It has always been a cracker, this one. It's a fixture which was played in the Elite League, the Super League, but now it's being played in the Eden League. And we've got City of Lusaka versus Trident. Trident had a lot of expectations coming into the season because they played very, very well in Division 1 football in the zones, but the Eden League has proven to be a league which is not very forgiving, just like Kashikishi Warriors found out. And, we've got Livingstone Pirates versus Kafue Celtic, interesting encounter as well at Maramba Grounds. I think Pirates have not lost at home, is it? They have been very, very solid playing at home. We've got Gomes playing National Assembly. Two of the most disappointing sides, I must say, because Gomes in recent years they have been chasing for promotion. National Assembly, likewise, now they are
provincial. Yeah,
they're going to play provincial football. I think it's very, very disappointing. They produce the likes of Given Singuluma, the likes of Fayo Tembo played at National Assembly. I think it's a shame to see a club of such magnitude just go down like this. It happened to Kongola Blades, but now they're back into the Elite League. We've got Police College versus Kashikishi Warriors and Rapson's team.
I don't think that game will be played actually because the Kashikishi Warriors is facing a ban. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you go Zesco Shokas versus Kansanshi Dynamos and Pulungu Harbour versus Kaisa. And another interesting encounter will be between Chambeshi versus Zesco Malaiti, because if Chambeshi managed to win this one, then they are back into the top league. How do you see it panning out and Rapson? If you look at Mighty Fulia Wanderers and Chambeshi, which side will be promoted?
Well, when you look at the two sides, really, Konkola Blades haven't had it easy when they visit Shinde Stadium in Mufrila, and I think when you look at how Mufrila Wanderers Football Club fans have been organizing themselves in support and in support of the team getting back to the Zambian Super League, they've done extremely fantastic work with regards to providing financial support to the team. And Konkola Blades have visited the Shinde Stadium a couple of times and they've come out with nothing there. And when you look at their current position, where they have already confirmed that they'll be playing in the Zambia Super League, the pressure sits with the Mufrila Wanderers. And when you look at Mufrila Wanderers, I don't know whether Elijah Chikwanda is going to do some mathematics there and just see how best the result can go their way. But clearly, it's advantage Mufrila Wanderers. They are playing at home at Shinde Stadium, final game of the season this afternoon. They have everything to play for. And when you look at Chambeshi could have wrapped up the season. I watched them, I think it was about 3 weeks ago when they came to Lusaka. They were playing from Queensmead Stadium. I watched their game and they are not very, very convincing really. They've been very, very consistent with regards to a couple of wins and draws, but I think their performance that I watched them at Queensmead Stadium didn't impress me at all. Maybe it was because it was a bumpy pitch, but I know Queensmead Stadium is not very bad when you look at a couple of pitches that are being used in the Eden University League. It's advantage Mufrila Wanderers, if you ask me, this afternoon. And all the best. That game is going to be live on ZMBC, I think TV3. they'll be showing that game live, and it will be very nice to see our brothers in green. Probably they'll be swapping with the Reds. This other one is going to Eden, the other one is coming to the Super League. We can only wish them all the best this afternoon.
I think to me, one side which I would think has been very, very disappointing, they would have missed a chance to come back into the Super League. I think it's City of Lusaka.
That's where I was even
think
going.
If you look at the investment that have been done at the football club, I think they haven't been as good as we would have thought.
I don't want to get to Isaac Chancer.
Well, yeah, we won't get to Isaac Chancer. I think maybe Vaseline had started this project. I think he left him in a very, very decent position. I think it's been rough for Isaac Chancer coming to join a team halfway through the season. I think if you look at City of Osaka's quality, I think it's not Premier League material, if you have to be honest. I think they've got a couple of players, yes, who can play good football, but I think they need to get their house in order, get their recruitment right. I think Basopo was here and he was optimistic. But one thing he said is, even if we do not get promoted, we'll stick to Isaac Chancer because we want to have faith in these upcoming young managers because they are the future of Zambian football. So I think I will give chance to Isaac Chancer.
Some statements are very psychological. It could have been a psychological statement just to make sure that he focuses on the league. That statement might change. When you look at the type of investment they've put in and where they are now, I think when you look at how Vaseline started, if he had continued with the team, with no doubt, they would have been one of those that are pushing for top 4 at the end of the season.
But again, Augustine, let's look at an issue of Kafue Celtic and corruption. We had an issue of they qualified, so they may be on social media having fun, celebrating. But what happens? What's next for them?
Well, for me, I'll echo the sentiments of the club proprietor Lee when he came and mentioned the fact that if they have managed to fulfill fixtures in the Eden University League, it's very easy for them to fulfill fixtures in the Premier League. Okay. The reason is very simple. When you look at the geographical locations of the teams that are in the Eden Super League, in the Eden National League, it's a very, very complicated movement. But here is Kafue Celtic. They have managed to fulfill all their fixtures throughout the season. And now they've qualified to the Premier League. Their geographical setup of their fixtures is even reducing even further, meaning that their cost of travel is even going to be less. Except now they have to sign a few high-profile players that are going to bring that experience in the team just to stabilize them. We've seen them. We've seen teams like Musa who came in and they were very quick to drop out. Why? Because they wanted to maintain the same quality of the players they had in the Eden University League, and the Premier League is a different setup, very, very different setup. And congratulations to Kafue Celtic, and I think they have done a very, very fantastic job. And that slot, we had rumors coming, Kafue Celtic would not be able to fulfill fixtures in the Premier League. They could be in a position to sell the slot. That is not going to happen. The proprietor just came and just clearly said it's very easy to fulfill fixtures in the Premier League, and Kafue Celtic is in for it.
I think the biggest question is, do they meet the club licensing criteria? I think that's the biggest question. Do they have a stadium where they are going to play their home matches? Do they have a training pitch and all these?
But even Red Arrows, you have no stadium. You are hiring. You are hiring.
Yes.
They can also hire.
Which stadium do they?
Even Zesco United, they have no stadium.
Yes, they are hiring, but they have got they have got the right foundation. I think if you look at the structures, they have got a proper secretariat. I think do Kafue Celtic have that?
It's very easy to create that when you come to the
I think this is the reason why we start talking about Young Green Eagles going to Costa Stadium now. People are now complaining going to Costa Stadium because we have set standards for this Super League teams to say every club needs to meet the club licensing criteria, but do we do the same with the Eden League? I think to me there shouldn't be any difference between the Eden League and the Premier League because it's just next to each other. So I think we need to do a lot of work in terms of improving the Eden League so that we can have.
But you see, Augustine, when we take that route, really, when you look at the stadium that is being used for the Eden games, last weekend, I can safely say I had an opportunity to watch a doubleheader at Queensmead Stadium. The first game involved I think National Assembly versus Zesco Shockers, two relegated sides from the Eden back to the provincial leagues. They played at 13 hours. I watched that game. The second game was between Malaiti Rangers versus Nchanga Rangers, which ended into a goalless draw. When you look at the way that pitch is, there is absolutely no security. Absolutely no security. And that is a league that is very close to the Zambian Super League. From there, you expect teams to start getting into the Premier League. But if we are going to allow stadia to be used where soccer fans can walk in and walk out of the playing surface anytime.
And
I think that becomes a very, very serious risk. What happened to Kashikish Warriors and their fans is totally unacceptable in the footballing family that we belong to, and that should be condemned. And I'm expecting some hefty punishment after the deliberations at fans. Suspending them for now, good gesture, good step in the right direction to warn would-be offenders, but I think we have to step up security of the stadia in the Eden University League.
Yeah, I think it has to trickle down to all the lower leagues, because sometimes you look at in terms of security, like corruption I said, and you look at the first aid, you saw what happened to Christian Eriksen. I think to me it becomes a fear to these lower league teams. What if it happens to these
Here you are
players?
gone.
Yeah, I think to me it's always a danger. Super League teams, yes, we always see there's always an ambulance there, everything is always in place, but when you go down to this league, you find that there is no such things. It's the first aid equipment is not there, there is no ambulance, there's just a team doctor on the bench. What does the team doctor do? Because he's one individual, he needs to stay with those players who are playing on the when the game is being played.
But you know what, it's a requirement as well in
yes.
the Eden, eh?
Yeah, it's a big requirement, yes. I think to me, it's something which we need really to work on as we are trying to improve Zambian football.
But looking at Augustine, I think I'll bring, meaning there is no much consideration in these lower leagues, right?
Exactly.
Because when you look at the super amateur, the one we watched, I think the local derby that was played in Kamanga, where just someone broke their leg,
yes.
And then you find someone just running into the stadium with a packet of water, but in Shinikwendo Tioka. So would you say much investment has to be done in lower leagues?
Exactly, because after that game when the boy broke his leg, I think I went to another game which was Division 1, provincial Division 1 football, and then you realize the security one, there's only one police officer. What if these fans now turn against the referee like it happened in Kashikish? What will the police officer do? And then I looked at the benches. There were team doctors, but there was no ambulance. So in case of something like what happened, the boy gets his leg broken, you have to one of
they are not even doctors. They are not even
doctors. Yes, there are some people who know how to attend to this. Yeah, first aid.
They are just first aiders.
Yeah, exactly. So I think to me something which we really need to look at and trying to implement even at these lower leagues, because this is where football starts from. Because if Football Association of Zambia, going back to 3, 4, 5 years back, there was only one referee who was officiating these lower leagues, and sometimes it would be something who would just appoint
someone. Yeah.
But now you can see even in the amateur they have got 3 referees, one referee in the middle and the assistants. I think it's the step in the right direction. We need to start taking these little things very, very seriously.
But coming to Kafue Celtics and Rapson, many at times we've seen. Maybe back then in the years, we used to see maybe Zesco Malaiti qualify to the Super League and then sell off their place. Should this issue come to an end? Because what are they playing for?
When you the major beneficiaries of such moves are Buildcon Football. They actually found themselves there. Yeah, molding from Mazabuka. The proprietor actually went to be with the Lord in the course of I think last week or the other week. May he so rest in peace. He's actually the one who actually sold that place from Mazabuka all the way to Ndola, and that's how Buildcon was born. But I think that should not be an issue anymore. And the major story was evolving around Kafue Celtic, and that issue has been clarified by the club proprietor, and we don't expect that to occur again.
I think just talking about what you have just highlighted, Amos, I think there was one of the best bloggers in Zambia football, Pancherelo Chama, raised these certain points regarding the Nkana issue. Why was a goalkeeper was red carded, had to sit on the bench? I think to me it was all about they do not have the pool. Young Green Eagles, because if you look at let's take for instance Manchester United, Arsenal, they have got youth teams, and if they have got any pressure regarding the first team selection, they get from their youth structures. I think we need to have this set up to set up. Every Premier League team have got youth structure, and we have got a good running league maybe for under 23s.
You see, I didn't want to bring that topic up, but clearly up to today I'm still failing to understand which statutes were applied to waive a player who was suspended to be given permission to play simply because one player was with the national team. We had Zanaco Football Club who had 2 players with the national team. Games will continue to be played. when you look at the number of players that a club is supposed to register, they have no limits, because Green Eagles was complaining because they have 3 goalkeepers. I mean, they have 4 goalkeepers. 1 goalkeeper was with the national team, the other one was injured. They remained with 2. 1 was on a red card, and 1 is the one who was in goals. But clearly, when you look at how FAS applied their rules, yes, they have a prerogative to do that, but I think in the interest of fair play, that wasn't a very, very good thing to do. And
let's just speak this corruption. Hello? Hello?
Good morning, you are through to Off the Pitch.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, yeah, how are you?
We're okay, how are you? You are through to Off the Pitch. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Mr. Kanyata from Western Province.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, sir. I'm seeing this question which you have just posed on the TV.
Yes, yes.
To me, I'm seeing there is no problem of calling Kennedy Mwene.
Okay.
Kennedy Mwene is just a name.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have got is his actions and what he knows.
Okay.
That is what we are interested in. Let him come so that he can even teach the young ones who are still coming behind.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why they say, where will be the banana suckers grow if the banana dies? You find that the bananas, they have suckers when the big banana is still alive.
Sure thing.
So we need that. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
You know, as we turn our attention into the the squad that Michu has selected for, that's the COSAFA Cup, maybe let's just take a look at how the Eden table is before the games are being played. If we can just have a display of the Eden League table. So Angorapson, that's how the league is. That's a table for the Eden University as it stands. Before the games are being played today, and that's courtesy of One Bweza Nimbewe.
We only have 2 critical games this afternoon, Chambishi and Mufuria Wanderers games. Mm-hmm. The rest is already decided. You can see Zesco Malaiti survived last weekend by drawing against Nchanga Rangers, and Mpolongo Haba National Assembly, Kashkisha and Zesco Shockers are back to where they belong. So sad for National Assembly. They were in the Premier League not too long ago. They went into Eden, and now they are dropping even further. This is a clear case of Portsmouth Football Club in England, and I'm only hoping that they won't go into oblivion. They have great sponsorship, and I'm only hoping that they can come back to life. This afternoon, Mufuria Wanderers versus Konkola Blades, interesting fixture live on ZMBC TV3, and I think that is a very, very critical game to monitor. With Chambishi playing their last game at home, perfect position for them. Mufuria Wanderers is also home. Whoever wins that game, and goals are going to play a very, very big part there. If you've seen the goal difference, is basically very, very healthy between the two. It's just 1. So even if Chambishi won by a goal to 0 and Mufuria Wanderers wins by 3 goals to 0 or 2 goals to 0, it's a tie. And when Mufuria Wanderers scores 3, it means that they'll surpass Chambishi by a goal difference of 1, and they will be in the Premier League. It's very, very tight, really, and goals are beginning to show importance of why teams should be scoring goals even when they are already winning a match.
I think that's the interesting part that I wanted to come to. I think when it comes to the goal difference, I think we saw in the past drama in this Division 1 football when it was called, it wasn't the National League, it was Division 1 football by then. The way Mfulia Blackpool came up, I think they had to score a certain number of goals to beat a side which was above them, and their game was delayed 1 hour. It started 1 hour after the rest of the games, and then they scored the number of goals they had to score to come up. I think, to me, this shouldn't happen in Zambian football, because it was clear Mfulia Blackpool are playing on other teams' minds. I think now it's time for everything to be in order. These 2 games should kick off same time so that we do not have issues, because what you do is For example, Mighty and Flare Wanderers, if they delay, I'm not saying they delay, if they delay their match, they delay their match so that they know what's happening to Chambeshi in the other game. If Chambeshi games finishes and Chambeshi have scored 2 goals, like Corruption has said, then Mighty will know that we now need to score 4 goals. I think it's something which we need to work on. It has to be clean. We need to have a proper winner to qualify to the Super League.
So as we looked at the teams that are qualifying going into the Super League, we again just touch a quick one on the games that are being played. That's tomorrow. That's the Super League, and we've got all the games are starting at 15. We've got Beautycon versus Zesco. It will be played at the Levy Stadium, and it's live on that's Super Sport 229. And then we've got Napsa Stars versus Ingana. We've got Kawe Warriors versus Indeni. We've got Young Green Eagles versus Lusaka Dynamos. We've got Zanaco versus Red Arrows, Forest versus Ngwazi, Kitwe United versus Power Dynamos, Green Buffaloes versus Prison Leopards,